If you are not in the absolute best state, a peak state as we like to say, you're going to perform differently. You're going to have different results. Have you guys ever had a moment when you were absolutely slaying it, getting sign-ups one afternoon? You just felt like you were on a roll? Or even when you were just talking to somebody and then afterwards you were like, man, I sounded good. But how many of you guys have also had a moment when you couldn't talk to save your life? You just had a foot totally in your mouth. It's not that you were a smarter person in the first example and then somehow you lost all of your intelligence in the second example. The difference was you were either in a smart state or a stupid state. Okay? Have you guys ever had an experience where you were totally irate and angry with somebody and you were like fighting with them or something, but then all of a sudden you get a call and it's like your mom and you're yelling and yelling and then all of a sudden you're like, hey mom, what's up? And you just completely change it? You guys had an experience like this? What the difference is your state. Are you guys with me? This is important. If you are not actively managing your state, then you're going to naturally be falling down. Gravity is automatic. Choosing to stand up is a choice. It's not always easy to have a high level of energy, to be in a state where you're ready to present yourself to the world, but it is damn worth it. And it's a choice you have. That's the last thing I need you to understand about all of this, is none of these distinctions will do you a damn bit of good unless you are absolutely in a state of service, unless you are totally ready to present yourself. When you're in that state, you will perform at your peak. You will show people your best self, and they will be that much more congruently aligned between your opportunity, what you're presenting, and they will take action. Versus the foot in the mouth example. So what you need to start paying attention to is where your state is, including right now, and say, can it get a little bit better? Can I bring it up? The answer is always yes. Can you always be elevating your energy? Wouldn't it be worth you, before you go into your chapter meeting, to say, okay, what do I have the ability to do right now for these people? How can I show up? If I were absolutely committed to being the best version of myself, what would I say? What would I do? And to just take a silent moment and reflect on that and get present to that right before you walk in, wouldn't that be worth it? That's what I recommend you do before you get into any position of the opportunity to influence. That's what I did before I got up here. Otherwise, you guys would be hearing a very different presentation right now. And there'd be far less value being provided. So you've got to be able to understand and manage your state, and you've got to get compelled, ladies and gentlemen. That's the last big thing you've got to understand, is how you influence ethically and in a lasting way is not consequential compared to the big, fat why behind your influence. So the point I want you to get is, if you're going to influence people maximally, you've got to get in that state where you say, I am determined. I don't care if this person says no 6 times. I understand that that is the expectation. I understand that that doesn't mean that I am presenting something to them that is not congruent with what they value. But what I know instead is I am presenting something to them in a way that they don't currently understand resonates with what they value. Do you see the difference? If you do not come from that place of absolute dedication, your impact will always be limited. Always find a way to ask again.